Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Self-Care Sunday podcast.
We are your very silly hosts, Shannon and Kyle. If you haven't met us yet, then that means you haven't heard our first 9 episodes. We definitely recommend that you check them out.
Oh my God, 10 episodes. We're going to have 10 episodes.
We made it.
Crazy. So as a disclaimer before we jump in here, this podcast is not intended to be used in the place of therapy. If any of our activities or information from the podcast elicit a strong emotional response, please seek counseling by reaching out to the Counseling Services Center or your local mental health provider.
Welcome to episode 10. This is our last podcast episode for season 1. Cue sadness soundtrack.
Wah, wah, wah.
Thank you, Kyle. Man, I can't believe it. It's our last one for this academic year.
Yeah, super weird to think about. I can't believe that we've done, this will be 10. I can't believe that. It feels like we just started in some ways. I don't know.
But also, it feels like we've been doing it forever.
I know. What a weird contradiction. Well, for today, we will be discussing ways that you can plan and engage in self-care this summer. Summer's right around the corner, and oh boy, I think we are all in need of some of whatever summer means to you, because it's been a year.
Yeah, I'm so ready. Oh, summer.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like summer, but
Nope, not yet.
my mind is
ready. We're all there. We just need the weather to catch up.
Yes. So, in terms of planning for the summer, we're just kind of going to provide you with some questions, some ideas, some things to really take this into your own hands and do it yourself for you. So, what are some goals that you have for the summer? What do you want to accomplish? Maybe is there like a project or a new craft that you would like to learn? What are some activities that you want to try? Where is somewhere that you want to go? Because, and this doesn't have to be like, you don't have to go to a different country. Maybe there's a part of the state that you'd like to go to. And what could you invest in that would be enriching for your experience? So for an example, I think what I want to do is get an Empire Pass for the New York State parks. And that is somewhere I would like to go to a bunch of different New York State parks and enjoy the nature. It's so beautiful. If you're not in New York and you're listening to this, maybe your state has something similar to like an Empire Pass. But I think I want to invest in one and enjoy my experiences outside.
Yes, that sounds lovely. Going to a bunch of parks over the course of the summer sounds like a nice getaway here and there.
Yeah, that's where I want to be.
Yes. Well, I think we all kind of need breaks from our space sometimes. And I know for some of you, you're all going to be returning to maybe different places, whether that's home. Maybe some of you are sticking around in the apartment that you've been living in. But I feel like making sure that we are creating a space that is helpful for us. I know for me, getting out of this room that I sit in all day in my house will be goal number 1. Be in different places. So if home isn't the best place for you, if sitting in the same place over and over again isn't going to be helpful to your mental health, maybe explore ways to get yourself out of the house. Obviously, with things kind of changing with the summer, weather being nicer, hopefully, and more people being vaccinated, we'll have a little bit more opportunities to do some things outside of our house. So what can you do? And I feel like Shannon already mentioned some ideas, but even making sure that you're checking in with people that you want to be around. Are there people in your life that you trust to be around and that you look forward to being with? And creating a sense of support that I think hasn't really existed in the same way for this year. Maybe it's time to take advantage of that. This summer, I think, will be very different than last summer when we didn't know anything of what was going on. So hopefully we can find new ways to alleviate some stress, explore, be where we need to be.
Yes. And for some college students, especially, going home after being away at school is a very difficult experience. So just plan ahead. If home isn't really your favorite place to be, maybe try to find some ways to get out of the house and maximize your time away from home. Find those supports and stay connected with your friends. It can be really easy to be disconnected from friends, especially with maybe if you're trying to take a break from technology, but don't lose those connections because they will be really helpful for you in times of stress. But maybe there are some people at home that you could safely reconnect with. So just keep some of that in mind. But definitely take a much needed break from technology. I'm over it.
Same. Same. So I feel like that goes into our next summer activities list where we have some ideas for you to experiment with. Number one, get off your screens. Get off the screens, all of them. No screens. Maybe as little as possible, only when you need them. I don't know about you, Shannon, but I am so tired of Zoom. Oh, so tired of Zoom.
Oh yeah, nope. I'm done.
Yep. So I think our eyes all need a break. Our nervous system definitely needs a break. Our bodies need to move and not be sitting in chairs or laying in bed or sitting on the floor, wherever your cozy desk has been this semester. Get up and move, go outside, especially as the weather gets nice. Nature's got a lot to offer us. So don't spend your time just looking at digital virtual screens all day. Go see some water and trees and brain animals.
Yeah, have you seen that trend on TikTok where people are buying a projector and then they project window screens on their wall?
I saw
Like,
that.
that's really cool and all, but why don't you actually go out to those places if you have the means to do so? Like, or just, going outside. Like, I think that's a great way to bring maybe nature that's not available to you into your space. But now that we will have some free time, go actually see things like that.
They do exist and they're amazing.
That's just something I thought of.
Agreed.
Also, because you're going to do it right, when you go out in nature, you can do some grounding exercises. If maybe you want to go outside and be barefoot and just kind of have your feet in the grass or whatever makes you feel comfortable, that can be really therapeutic and recharging. It's an interesting experience. There are going to be some ecotherapy exercises in the description of this. So maybe look at those, take a gander, try some of those out. Going for hikes is wonderful. Mindfulness walks, I feel like maybe we've discussed these before, but going for walks just by yourself with no music, no phone, just existing and experiencing the world around you. It's a great way to stay connected to your environment and really just enhance your appreciation for what is available to you.
Definitely. And I do feel like there's a lot more options for kind of getting to those places now. And I know there's a lot of like Airbnbs that exist in places now. So a little bit cheaper to spend some money and go stay somewhere that's really amazing. And maybe as a treat to yourself if you have the means to do so. But you don't always need to stay in those places. There's a bunch of just natural, they're there and no one's going to charge you to do it. So go explore the trails at Rice Creek if you're around Oswego still, or find whatever the local hiking trails are because they are available. They might just look a little different depending on where you are around the state or country or world. So look around and find those things.
Oh, I was going to say something, but that's not appropriate for the podcast, but it's a very common meme phrase. So go mess around and find out. Yeah, just have experiences. I feel like, and if you're worried about money, because sometimes things cost money. If you're worried about money, maybe take a look at your spending habits and try to cut back on some of those things. If you have a tendency to buy a bunch of stuff on Amazon as a stress response, maybe if you can work on ways to cut back spending and try to save up money for having enriching experiences. I won't enter my anti-capitalist mindset right now, but that's kind of where I'm coming from. I think my one of my friends said it best, that they are someone who cherishes experiences, and having material things just isn't as special as a memory or a photo from an experience.
Definitely. I feel like we've talked about that in previous podcasts of just like being where you are and enjoying that, like taking in all of the experience that it has to offer. And you definitely don't need souvenirs for that. It is more of just allowing yourself to actually experience it as it's happening. And I think there's a lot
Yeah.
of magic that happens through that.
Yeah, a memory is a souvenir. Of course, souvenirs are nice and all, but you know, just in having enriching experiences in life and actually going out and doing things is so great. Because it's a lot different from hearing about other people's experiences, from maybe watching, like, sometimes I watch YouTube videos of people going on certain hiking trails or doing certain things. Wouldn't you like to just go and try it out yourself?
Definitely. And I feel like we learn a lot by taking those chances too. I remember I was always a big fan of walking places in college, but I feel like there was one summer I stuck around Oswego and didn't go home to Albany where I'm from. I stuck around Oswego and I was here kind of by myself. I knew a few coworkers that I was working with at the gym, but it was kind of on my own. I found so much pleasure in just like walking around this area, which I know is like a strange thing when you're living on campus, you're in a bubble. Maybe if you're off campus, you have like a little bit of an expanded bubble. You know a few more places, but there really is a lot to see around this area. And I think it's nice to be able to just go on that adventure for yourself. So if that fills a need for you, maybe it encourages you to take a chance or have a little bit of courage to try something outside of your comfort. I mean, find what feels right for you in those moments.
Yeah. I was just thinking, when I was younger, I would walk around my neighborhood and I found all of these like hidden gems. Like, there were so many different places I could go, lots of long roads. I'm from like a very rural area. So just like finding those different hidden gems that maybe no one really knows about, it's such a special experience. And it's like just another way to treat yourself, even if you don't realize it. Some of my best memories are from when I was hanging out with some of my friends or by myself, and we found a really beautiful waterfall, and it was frozen over because it was still kind of winter.
Mm,
Um, it's just so beautiful. Everything is beautiful if you look at it a certain way. So
mm,
challenge yourself to find the beauty in things and find those new places that maybe you overlook because you're so caught up in your everyday life. Now is really the time to relax and take it all in and just enjoy life.
mhm. Definitely. 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 And some of the stuff that I feel like I wanted to emphasize in this as we're coming out of the semester is just take time to ground yourself fully, because you all probably know this experience. You're going through a semester, you're stressed about deadlines, you're stressed about your to-do list, you're stressed about emails, you're stressed about going to class, having final exams, you're stressed about the future. That's a lot of stress all packed up into a semester. And I feel like it's so important that we allow ourselves to come down from that. I know some of you might be jumping into summer classes in a couple weeks, but give yourself just time to settle, because I think that state of chronic stress is really harmful to our well-being. And I
Hmm.
feel like we find different ways to settle ourselves. So I know we're focused a lot more on the natural world and getting outside and like moving around. And I think that can be really helpful for people. But also find what works for you, what takes you out of that stress. That could be having conversations with people, or could be playing games or something like that. But just find what does work for you. So I put on here, give yourself time to come down from stress by exercising, doing yoga, which is always one of my favorites, meditation, walking, sitting, resting, which means, yeah, go take a nap, go sleep when you have the time to sleep. lay in the grass, see what that's like. Swim in the water. If you're sticking around here, we have a nice lake to jump in. Laugh at the funny things. There's lots of funny things, endless funny things. Find them and laugh at them. Hang out with any animals you can find. Hopefully, safe animals. Don't
Yeah,
find a
don't hang out
bear
with
or
a bear.
something. No bears. No bears. Adventure to the woods. And my favorite, go for drives and listen to music. Such a good
Yes.
summer adventure.
Oh, yes, that's my favorite thing for those of you who have vehicles. I just love to drive down those like long country roads, and I have a sunroof, so I just like put all the windows down, open my sunroof, and blast the music and just let it all go.
Mm-hmm.
It's my
Definitely.
favorite thing to do.
So fun. So fun. Go make a fire and sit by it somewhere.
Oh, yes. So great. So many options, so many really good options for you to try out. And like Kyle said, we are focusing on getting away from the technological world and engaging in the natural world. But if playing video games is what helps you, that's fine. Like, we're not trying to say that doing those things is bad. But just like we've been so overworked and overwhelmed, and we often fail to realize it in the moment, which is why it is such a hard time to be in college right now. Being a student right now, quite frankly, sucks. It's terrible in my experience. Like I like my classes, I like what I'm studying, but I'm so ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
And I just think that my mental health has it's definitely been better. So doing those things, those taking those restorative measures, nature is restorative. And that's I think why we're pushing it so much.
Definitely. And honestly, I love games. One of my favorite things to do is like when I have free time, put on music, play a little bit of Minecraft. It's so soothing. I feel creative. I get to really
Yeah.
dive into it. And yeah, like you said, this whole semester has been like, that's the last thing that I want to do because I don't want to sit on a computer anymore. So if that is the case for you and you're looking forward to those games that involve being on a screen, as long as it's making you feel good, that is the key. Give yourself the space where it doesn't just feel like it's wearing you down further.
Mm-hmm. So we have just a few do and do nots. This is a pretty short podcast because a lot of it is up to you and what's part of your comfort zone. So, do plan some activities to look forward to and celebrate all of your hard work. Like I just mentioned, it's really hard for us to notice how hard we are working and really appreciate the effort that we're putting into it because I feel like a lot of the time we just think this isn't good enough, or we even get feedback that's like, I need more from you. But you're doing your best and you have done your best. Even if you feel like you haven't done your best, that is just a sign that you're maybe more burnt out than you thought and you need that extra care and support from yourself. So celebrate your hard work, your accomplishments, and the progress that you've made towards your goals. Even if you haven't made that progress to where you want to be, this is where you are, you know? I feel like when people compare, like that's what you're doing when you feel like I didn't make it as far as I want to be, or maybe I didn't lose as much weight as I wanted to. If you're worried about your summer body, that's a thing. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but if you have a body, you have a summer body, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But if you feel like you didn't accomplish as much as you could have, you know, when you do that, you're comparing yourself to a version of you that did accomplish all of your goals and you did it perfectly, but no one's perfect. That's impossible. And yes, people are getting vaccinated, things are becoming more accessible, but we are still in a pandemic a year, more than a year later.
Yep.
So comparing what your progress is now to your ideal progress is even more detrimental to your self-esteem and mental health and motivation, because there's no possible way that you could achieve all of your goals perfectly and within the appropriate time frame given the circumstances and the stress that you're going through right now.
Mm.
So just do not feel like this time has to be filled with a lot of scheduled events. Leave space for spontaneity and leave space for appreciating yourself and knowing that you are enough.
Mhm. Definitely. I feel like I've been saying this a lot lately to people, but like no one's going to look back in 10 years at this time and say, I wish I did more. We're going to look back and say, oh, I survived a global pandemic and I did the best I could at that time because no one knew what was going on. No one knew how to do it. We were just surviving. So
Yeah.
if we can get into that mentality now when we're in it, that's going to be really helpful for you because I think we all need a little bit of room for kindness and compassion for ourselves, but also just to reflect on the things that we are able to do now. It is exactly what we need to be doing, and that is okay.
Yes.
So, do reflect on all the things that you have done this past semester and this year. I don't know. I've been talking about this with one of my coworkers because we were just kind of summing up all the things that we've done. And I had that little voice saying like, oh, what did you even do? You didn't even do a lot of things. And then I made this list of all the things that we did. And I was like, wow, we accomplished way more than I even knew. And I think sometimes it's easy to slip out of even knowing how much you've done throughout an entire semester, a few months, and then let alone the whole year of being in this pandemic. But write those things down, make a list and summarize all the things that you've done because you've done a lot. I can guarantee that. And it doesn't have to be just, productivity, schoolwork, professional stuff. It can also be just for you. Well, note those times where you took a day off because you needed it. Note those times where you reached out to a friend because you haven't done that before. Note those times where you tried counseling. Anything that you've done to take care of yourself, I think are also really big accomplishments. That's really prioritizing ourselves. So note those times. I highly recommend writing them down because I think we actually need to see visuals sometimes. It'll definitely hit a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree with that. Seeing a visual really puts it into perspective.
It's been really helpful for me.
But also you are a visual person.
True. I am. Do not just rush into your next to-do list or productivity activities. I was going to say productive activities, but productivity activities sounds fun. Don't just rush into that stuff, right? Like take some time to just sit with what you've done and accomplished. Know what it feels like to feel proud, to feel like you've gotten to this moment. It is way too easy for us to say, all right, to-do list 1 is done into to-do list 2. And just never get a sense of feeling accomplished or grounded or proud. But that is the endless dangling a carrot on the end of the stick kind of thing. It will always be just out of reach where we think we're looking for whatever it is that we're looking to get to. If we can't actually feel it when we get there, then we're never going to get there. So we got to feel it when we can. You're finishing something, you're finishing a semester, maybe some of you are graduating. Feel that. Let that be.
Yeah, I think our self-worth is often tied to productivity. So let's work on separating those two things. I saw a post earlier today that was talking about how like being tired is kind of like glamorized and like oversleeping or not getting enough sleep and working yourself to the bone is kind of like glamorized, especially in the US. So let's cut that out. I think that is so detrimental to just our mental health and our overall wellness. Being tired and doing work and working yourself to the bone is not something that I think anyone should be proud of. I think that is just cause for a re-examination of the way that we go about things and the protocol for work. And just if you are tired, you are not going to be doing good work. And or maybe you'll do good work, but it won't be at the capacity that you want it to be at. So it's like a cycle. If you're tired, you're anxious, and you have all these things going on, and then you're forced to do some work and try to be a functioning member of society, then you aren't going to meet your own standards or the standards set by you by your school or employers. And then you're going to feel bad about it and negative about it, and then continue to overwork yourself to make up for the perceived lack of productivity or success. It's a cycle.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Don't run yourself down that way.
Yeah, that ain't it. What Kyle said, feel proud. That's something I'm working on. Feeling proud of my accomplishments. Nothing really feels real at the moment. So the fact that I'm getting my master's degree in 15 days feels so weird to me. I can't believe it's real. And I kind of was just like, I don't know. So many people are saying to me, like, be proud of your accomplishments and like celebrate. And I'm like, well, yeah, I should. What is stopping me from feeling like this is an accomplishment? I don't know. Just like nothing feels real right now. So it can be tough.
You know, it was really helpful for me. I was working with kids previously in a past job, and had my master's degree on the wall in my office, displayed there. And then just a little kid looks up and says, "Oh, you are a master of science?" And I was like, I died laughing because I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But it was so true. Like, there's someone who's marveling at this thing that seems like, wow, that's amazing. And then it's so easy for us to take that for granted. But so much hard work has gone into this. 20 something years of school, right? Like, you've worked for this. And that is something to be proud of, even if it feels a little strange in this pandemic time. Doesn't discredit all that.
That's true. That's a good point. The pandemic doesn't discredit your accomplishments. So for our ending, we usually do quotes. Kyle has a quote. I have some affirmations. These are some things that I have already started to say to myself in preparation for my brief time off, but still time off. So some good affirmations that might work for you or that you could modify to fit your needs are: I am allowed to relax. You are allowed to relax.
You are. You deserve it.
I deserve a break is the next one.
Perfect.
That works. Yeah, I deserve a break. You deserve a break. Everyone deserves a break. Even if you feel like you haven't been doing anything, you're not doing anything is a result of you feeling overwhelmed and needing that break. So take that time that you need to replenish and refresh. The fresh air is healing me, and I am renewed by time spent outside. It's just nice to be, to just go outside and exist and be and not have any expectations put on you. That's what I love about nature. Nature doesn't expect you to do anything other than clean up after yourself. Nature doesn't have any expectations or any nature doesn't perceive you. You perceive nature.
I love that. Very true. I guess that goes really well with my quote here. So, good old Walt Whitman, one of my favorite poets. You must habit yourself to the dazzle of the light in every moment of your life. Look for those things. Internalize that. Be with it. Man, there's a lot of amazing things that happen all the time around us. Sometimes it's good to just sit with it and enjoy it, because that's what we're here to do. Enjoy it.
Yes, we are here for the experiences. Well, gee, that's about it. And I'd like to end with a thank you. I'd like to thank some of these people in my life for allowing me to have this experience. Our listeners, thank you for listening. My friends, especially who listen, I really appreciate your feedback and just knowing how this podcast has impacted others in positive ways is all I could ever ask for. I think that when Kyle and I started, we were saying, if one person listens to it, that'll be enough. And more than one person in my life has listened to some episodes. So just all the feedback that I've received from my personal connections has been wonderful and encouraging, and I'm happy to help. That's what Kyle and I are here for, to help people out. And to provide you with that information and our perspective, which I think our perspectives are pretty good.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. We got we'll soon both be masters of science. So
Masters of science.
you're a master of science? That's so cute.
It was the best.
And then I'd also like to thank Kyle for being my co-host and coming on this journey with me. It's been so wonderful to hang out with you every week and talk and help people together. That's so fun. And you're just so supportive. And I've echoed this in other podcasts, but I just love working with you. And you're such a great person.
That's so endearing. I feel blushed and yep. That means a lot, though. I feel like so much of this has been really nice to go through these kind of ups and downs and have this place to talk through things. I don't know. So I have appreciated all of your insights and your wisdom and your own perspective on this stuff. So thank you for helping to build this space to do that and to be able to talk through all of this and share your creativity with the world. And yeah, I am so appreciative. So thank you so much for saying that. And thank you back for letting me be part of it.
This reminds me, what is it? I don't know what show it was, but it's like, thank you for saying thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for saying you're welcome.
That's great.
That's what this is reminding me of.
Yes.
Also, some quick shout outs to my supervisor for listening to the podcast a lot. I appreciate it. I learned recently that one of my coworkers and my supervisor and one of my coworkers had to work through a situation with a student. And they were both talking to each other, and they used our podcast information as like a way to navigate the situation. And I teared up when she told me that. They were like, this reminds me of Shannon's podcast, remember? So that was so cool. Thank you both, Renee Pink and Samantha Santee, for always being my supporters and listening. And thank you to Dr. Tiffany Gonzalez for being the wonderful, amazing faculty sponsor that you are, and allowing me to do this with Kyle to enrich the greater campus community.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, everybody who has listened. If you have given your time to listening to this, thank you. Man, there's so many things that you could give your time to, and it means a lot that you would spend it with us. So I hope that was helpful. And it sounds like, Shannon, you got some good feedback, some real world application right there. That's awesome. So yes, thank you everybody for helping us to be here and do this and give us the opportunity to do this. And then for listening, it means a lot.
I think that's a good note to end on.
I think so. I don't know what else to say. I'm just really appreciative.
So grateful.
So I guess this is the end of season 1.
All good things must come to an end.
Weird to say, but yes. So,
maybe we'll be back with the season 2.
Dun dun dun. That's my improv soundtrack.
All right, so here's to season 1 and a potential season 2 with more laughter and more self-care tips next semester.
Definitely. So take care of yourselves this summer.
Yes, self-care.
Self-care. Bye.
Bye.